What's up, guys, and welcome. We are going to go ahead and get a step closer to finishing this quadcopter. As you can see in the last video, we had installed our ESCs, and I had explained that these ESCs do not have a BEC inside them, so there's nothing here that can power the flight controller board or the receiver. So I had to order a UBEC. This right here is a it's just a voltage regulator is what it is. It takes the battery voltage, the 11.1 volts, fully charged. It's like 12.5 volts, but it takes that voltage and it knocks it down to 5 volts. So that way, when we, plug it into our flight controller through the motor connections, it'll get the 5 volts, will power the CC, the flight controller, and then through the throttle, it'll power the receiver. So let's go ahead and get our UBEC installed, and then we're going to solder the wires to the power distribution board. So we just want to try to pick a location that's not going to be in the way of anything, and think ahead for any future modifications that we might do to it, like FPV or whatever. So you got to think about maybe locations for the transmitter and things like that. But I think we're going to have it right here, sitting right just behind the power distribution board. And to mount it down, we're going to use some of the mini double-sided sticky tape that came with the kit. I'm going to go ahead and cut it down. I probably should have cut that down before I taken the paper off of it. So before I mount this down, it also has this little jumper here. I have it on 5 volts because that's all we needed. We just needed to be at 5 volts, but if we moved it over, it'll actually supply 6 volts to whatever you need to. I mean, like a remote control car or an airplane or whatever. Stick it like that. Put it right about here. So we got plenty of for the servo end of it. The reason why I'm calling it a servo is because this is actually like a servo connector, but really, I mean, over to our power distribution board. But I kind of want it out of the way, underneath stuff, I guess. Yeah, and then we'll just solder it to the power distribution board like that. You can see we got negative and positive right here. We're gonna put solder. We're gonna pretend the ends of our wires. Put solder on our pad here. Not a whole lot, we just need a little bit. Take our wire. There, got a nice flat connection. Supply power to our electronics. Next, I'm going to work on mounting the receiver. This is a FlySky FSR6B. I love these. This is what I use on my other 250, the Hercules, and now this one. So again, just like the BEC, I'm going to put sticky tape on that. We're gonna fasten it down just like that. When you're looking at the CC3D, you can see a little arrow right here. It's pointing in that direction. Well, forward. And it can seem a little daunting, and more than likely, when you buy the kit, it's not going to come with any instructions. So, what does any of this mean? Well, right off the bat, you can see this 3-wire connector. It's got black, red, and white. This is your throttle. Then the next wire is blue. This is going to be your aileron. The next wire is yellow. That's going to be your elevator. Your next wire is green. That's going to be your rudder. And then the other two wires are blue and yellow. This is auxiliary 1 and auxiliary 2. But sometimes this yellow wire might be orange in your kit sometimes. But just remember, throttle, aileron, elevator, rudder, auxiliary 1 and 2. Alright, now I'm going to desolder the pins here, and I'm going to resolder them on the other side. And the reason why I'm doing this is because I can mount my flight controller in the right orientation, but actually have it mounted on the top of the frame here, so that way it keeps it away from the power distribution board, and I have room for my servo pins for my ESCs. Because if I mounted it on top of the power distribution board, there's not enough clearance, and I kind of want to keep it away from the power distribution board as much as possible. So now that I got my desoldering iron nice and hot, you can start by sucking the solder. What I'm doing actually also is the chips on the other side. I'm resting my finger over the chips just to make sure I can feel if they're getting hot or not. You want to make sure that they don't get very hot. This is a 40-watt desoldering iron. I've had it for, I don't know, about 8 years. Radio Shack, of course. I'm gonna let it cool down just a little bit. We want to make sure that even the plastic on the pins, they don't get too hot, or anything else on the board. We're not trying to ruin this thing. Getting those pins desoldered, but we got it done. The original pins stuck out from this side here, so now we're just gonna resolder the pins on the back side. So what I went ahead and did was I scrapped the old pins that came off, because on the bottoms of them there would still be solder residue on them, and trying to get all that off and stuff like that would just be kind of a pain. So I had a bunch of these left over, so I went ahead and broke the section off, so that way I could just slide the fresh new pieces or pins into the board, resolder them up, and everything should be happy and fine. Alright, so the pins are going in nice and smooth. After I desoldered them, I went back and I cleaned up the holes a little bit, and I used a really tiny poker. This is a needle point for my screwdriver set here. It's just a little thing, but it's got a really fine point on it. So I went back and gently went in there and reamed out the hole just a little bit, just to get the rest of the solder out of the way. So now we've got our pins on the back of the board, and a nice easy way to mount this without having to flip it upside down and reorientate and, you know, go in the software, Pilot into virtualization, altitude adjustments, and stuff like that. Alright, now my favorite part. Let's fire up a soldering iron and get this thing done. Alright, now that we have our sticky foam on the, well, what used to be the top side, well, I guess it's still the top side of the CC3D flight controller, and we've got a connector on the bottom side now. Now it's just a matter of getting this attached to the quadcopter. Try to get this kind of in the center, just a little forward. I don't want to put it directly above the power distribution board, and it has to be as straight as can be. There. Something like that. Except more straight. Front of the quadcopter. So we know it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. Motor number 2. Motor number 3. And motor number 4. Connect the UBEC up to the flight controller as well, so that way the flight controller has power. And I connected the UBEC up to one of the motor connections on the CC3D flight controller that wasn't being used. While we're at it, I'm going to go ahead and attach the the receiver antenna. I'm going to show you how to do that. I'm going to take the zip tie. I'm going to put it around one of the things. I'm going to grab another zip tie, do the same thing. Now, our third zip tie, I'm going to put it on here like this. We're going to grab our other one. Like that. Snip off the extra. And we're going to put our transmitter antenna next to the zip tie we have standing up, about that much. Slide our heat shrink tubing over the receiver antenna. And we have a nice sturdy antenna attachment mount thing. The set of connections is going to be the throttle, and that's going to be channel 3 on the fly sky. Our next connection is going to be aileron, which is blue. That's going to be channel 1. Next, our yellow one is going to be our elevator. It's going to be channel 2. Our green wire is going to be rudder, and that's going to be channel 4. Just like that. And And then our next two, the blue one is auxiliary 1, and that's going to go to channel 5, and the last one, yellow, that's going to go to channel 6. Oh, no way. This wire snuck around the other side. Oh, that's disastrous. Alright, I'm just going around and I'm making sure all my screws are nice and tight. Everything looks good. And there. That's it. We have a quadcopter. Nice, clean. We have bullet connectors on everything, on the motors, on the ESCs, bullet connectors on our power distribution board. It is time. It is time to get this thing over to the computer and get that Libre Pilot in that CC3D flight controller and get this thing all set up. Alright guys, if you like this video, then like it. If you dislike, you know what to do. I hope you learned something in the process of building your quadcopter. This one I got to do from start to finish. But yeah, guys, if you like this video, then please like it. I guess I'm gonna have to start begging for likes. With the whole YouTube thing. If you dislike it, you know what to do. But don't forget to share the video, subscribe to the video, tell your friends and family about it, and I hope you have a happy new year and stay safe. Goodbye.